Hi, Hockey Actually listeners. Welcome to episode 18. I think it's 18. We're just gonna start with the elephant in the room. I don't even know if it's an elephant at this point. Everyone knows,
Everyone's heard.
everyone has cried their respective tears.
Hmm.
Quinn Hughes is no longer a member of the Vancouver Canucks. I'm assuming everyone knows this already, but in case you don't, which is very unlikely, the Canucks traded Quinn Hughes last night on a Friday night, of course, to the Minnesota Wild, a surprising team,
Yeah.
especially considering you've got places like New Jersey, Detroit, the like, but Quinn Hughes is a member of the Minnesota Wild. In return, the Canucks managed to fetch a pretty decent package of Marco Rossi, Zeev Buium, Liam Öhgren, and a 2026 first round draft pick. So in total, if you think about it that way, that's four first rounders. Whether they will keep those first rounders by the end of the year or not, we don't know. But of course, there's no replacing Quinn Hughes. You're the franchise's best defenseman, indisputably. But having four pieces as well as some pretty decent looking ones softens the blow a little bit. But I don't know. We could talk a bit about the returns later and individually, but initial thoughts, what's going through your head right now other than sadness?
Other than sadness, I think I was anticipating it to happen. I just didn't think it would happen so soon and to the Wild of all
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people were anticipating New Jersey, but I honestly didn't think he was going to go to New Jersey. I just wasn't expecting the Wild.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I don't know
especially
what I was
yeah.
expecting, but not that.
Especially because so many people, when like rumors were coming out, it was all East Coast, right? And you'd assume East Coast because he's from there, his brothers play there. But no,
No.
Minnesota.
To each their own, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it was like maybe I'm a pessimist, but maybe it was just his time to go.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he was the best defenseman we've ever had, and I would have loved to have kept him. I'm not gonna lie. But
Ooh, and right.
it just didn't seem like his whole heart was in the team anymore.
Mhm.
And it's hard to kind of keep that, especially as your captain.
Yeah.
Like your captain needs to be someone who is dedicated through and through. The loyalty stays. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think Brock Besser should be the next captain, but to each their own.
I was gonna ask you that later. Once
Oh,
we get through all the trade stuff, who we think the next captain should be. I have my opinions too, but yeah,
valid. But
that'll
anyway,
be
yeah,
fun.
that'll be later.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. The shocker definitely, right? Like
Yeah. What are your
uh,
thoughts? Too many?
uh, there are a lot, but there are also none at the same time. It's one of those things where, your brain has been working for like how long, and it's like at the point where it's like,
It has yet to
okay,
settle in.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need like 3 to 4 business days to like process. But like, I mean, of course, you never want to trade a player with as high of a caliber as Hughes. Nobody does. But if it comes down to a situation like this where he's going to leave, it had to happen, right? And honestly, management would probably be under fire even more if they hadn't traded him and he had still left in free agency, right?
Yeah.
Of course, who's to say that would end up happening? Now everything is just speculation, but the fact that I'm trying to think of a way to word this, but the fact that this situation ended up happening in the first place, where they were forced to move on to him, if anything, to me, is a bigger concern than the actual trade itself. The fact that you knew that he made this decision, who knows when he made the decision, but of
His
course,
decision was his mind was made up.
yeah, exactly. His mind was made up. And if he has this inclination that he doesn't want to stay long term, my thought is if this is one of your key guys in your core, in your whatever it is that you're calling it nowadays, if this is one of your key guys and he's indicating that he doesn't want to stay long term, what have you done to convince him to not stay long term? Right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that is mainly what my head is kind of thinking about right now. But I mean, we can take an optimistic spin on it and look at the return. Look at who the Canucks got back.
Yeah.
I
I
just saw,
mean,
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
go for it.
No, I was gonna say I just saw a photo on the Canucks Twitter that the new guys are already with the team. So
As they should be.
yeah,
He better be ready to go.
you're playing at 9:30 Pacific tomorrow. So chop chop.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a quick turnaround.
Hmm.
But yeah. I kind of agree with you though. Like the fact that you knew that he wasn't planning on staying long term and you built the franchise around him. Mm, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Especially when you look at some of like the hires they've made or the extensions they've signed, looking like it's targeted towards keeping him. For example, like when the Canucks hired Adam Foote, a lot of the talk around it was the fact that Hughes is a big fan of Foote and
Yeah.
there's no Hughes. So I don't know. It's interesting, an interesting thing to think about, but I
I
don't know.
think, yeah. I think part of it was probably they were trying to do everything they could to keep
Hmm.
him,
Yeah.
but maybe he just didn't communicate that with the team.
Yeah.
So
Well,
maybe part of it is on him as well.
mhm. because
Because like for someone to sacrifice so much to keep you on the team and then you just kind of go like, okay, yeah, I'm done. I don't know.
it's interesting times in Canucks land. It's probably, if we're being completely honest for fans, Friday night and probably the days coming will be some of the darkest in recent history, just by the fact that look at what you ended up giving up. Who knows? Maybe the new guys will put up a pretty nice showing in their next couple games. But again, it's hard. I don't know. It depends on what direction people want the team to go in now. Whether they're rebuilding or they're still trying to be competitive. Who knows?
Well, my mind is going to, okay, now that you've got Hughes gone, you've got people like Connor Garland
Mhm,
who are perhaps on the chopping block.
mhm.
You've got you've got kind of that like group of people that they re-signed to keep him. He's not there anymore, and they're like, okay, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. And it's hard because like the players that they acquired, as well as when you look at their prospects right now, they have the a decent makings of a good core in a few years' time. Not right now. And a lot of the players that are currently still with the team don't really align with that window. Like like you said, Garland and Demko, for example,
Yeah.
they're like late 20s, right? By the time that, say, Braden Coots or Zeev Buium are ready to like contend and stuff like that, how old are these guys going to be? It's tough because I know that Alvin dropped the word rebuild yesterday during his media availability, but are they really going to commit to the rebuild? I feel like every time that they make it seem like they're going to commit, they turn around and they do something else. So,
It's
skeptic.
never, yeah.
Hmm.
It's never one thing with the Canucks,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yep. But
Alas,
yeah.
here we are. That's why we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, that is why we're here to share our thoughts and feelings and
Yeah. I mean,
everything.
to be totally honest, I'm not super familiar with any of the players that we acquired. Are you familiar with them?
I have been doing research since last night. So
Okay.
so I've got, yes, I've got some,
Understood. Gotcha.
We can get into that right now then. I can break down some of the players. Of course, I'll probably start with the player who I would say is the most NHL ready right now, who has played in the NHL,
Rossi, right?
Marco Rossi. Yep. 24 years old. Something to note is that none of the players that they acquired in return are over 25. So Rossi's the oldest at 24. But Rossi was the ninth overall pick in the 2020 NHL draft by Minnesota. And he was actually named to the all rookie team in 2024. He's had some bumps heading into like the start of his career. And this isn't going to sound positive. I'm going to start with the negative so we can go with the positive after. But um, around the time that COVID happened, I guess he developed it and developed a heart issue that kept him out of the the start-ish of his career for a little bit, but he has played in full season since then. And from what people are saying, the heart issue is no longer an issue. It was just something that had happened as a result of medical stuff. Seems like it's good now. But he is currently in the first year of a 3-year contract that will make him an RFA in 2028. This, of course, was something that kind of came up during the offseason this year, which actually led to the Canucks being interested in him, in acquiring him during this offseason, the past offseason. One actual little tangent here. One trade package that apparently had been proposed on draft day for Marco Rossi for the Canucks was the 15th overall pick. So the pick that they used to pick Brain Coots, Atu Ratu, and Artur Shulovs. So if that had happened, which I don't think it would have, and of course now we know it didn't, but if that had happened, that would have sent Rossi to the Canucks, and then Ratu, the pick that was eventually Coots and Artur Shulovs, to Minnesota. So fun fact there. Clearly the Canucks wanted Rossi. Clearly they've gotten a guy who they've wanted for a while. But with Rossi, the kind of like the allure isn't more so the points, even though he did have a career year last year. He put up like 60 points in a full season. The allure, I think, is more so with the fact that he's got very good hockey IQ and he's very crafty as like a second line center. I think, and especially being only 24, like having those pieces to your game already, I think is what the Canucks were targeting. It's a good sign. He is on the smaller side, like he's 5'9", but he
He's
has
5'9"?
yeah.
Why?
Well, that's the height that's listed. Players sometimes, players will tell a tall tale about how tall they are, but he is listed.
Okay, so then he's probably shorter than that.
I don't know if he is or not. I was referencing Garland because apparently Garland has done that a couple times, but
Well, Garland's listed as 5'10", and he is not
he's
5'10".
5'8". He's technically 5'8", but
Yeah.
yeah. So he is on the smaller side, but I guess because of that, he's learned to be able to play in his size and utilize his size as a strength. So kind of being able to, like if you're smaller, more agile, kind of trying to get past players a little quicker. So that's kind of the breakdown on Rossi right now. Of course, he's going to come in immediately and fill a role with the Canucks not having three NHL centers right now. So that is the first. That's the oldest. I do think it's a positive sign that the oldest player they got is 24, because now you're committing to like getting younger, like they had said. But again, they say a lot of conflicting things. So who knows if that'll stay.
Yeah. There's no certainty when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks, unfortunately.
The one thing that is certain that there's no certainty.
No.
Which is sad, but anyways, the next piece in this package is actually the one that a lot of people are saying is the I don't want to say like shining jewel or anything, but the main focal point for the Canucks, and that's Zeev Buium, who many are hoping and slightly expecting to take Hughes's place. Projections have him pretty like he's a good defenseman, both offensively and then defensively, like things could be worked on, but he literally just started his career, like his pro career this year. So understandable. He was the 12th overall pick in 2024 by Minnesota. He's currently 31 games into his first ever NHL season and has 3 goals and 11 assists, which is for defensemen who is in their first season. It's not Hughes, but it's very good. So
we got to take the wins.
Take the wins where you can, right? Like, but prior to the NHL, one of the things that, of course, he's a great player. One of the things that a lot of people are pointing out that stands out the most about his career prior to joining the NHL is he's won at pretty almost like every level. He has he spent 2 years with the University of Denver, won a NCAA championship there. He's won 2 World Junior Under 20 gold medals with Team USA, won 1 gold with the US World Juniors team under 18, and then won at the 2025 World Championships with the men's team, which was actually the state's first gold in 92 years. So he's and he was also finalist for the Hobey Baker Award in college hockey, which is given to the best hockey player in college hockey. What else does he have? I think that's it for right now, but there are a bunch of other things.
Still a really like that's a long list of qualifications.
And the thing that sticks out to me the most is he was named to the World Championship team, where he won gold, and he was the second youngest player on that roster at 20 years old.
20. He's 20?
Yeah.
You're 20?
Yeah. So it's promising, right? Like, and of course there he did play with Connor Garland and Drew O'Connor. So he does have familiar faces that he has played with before there. But breaking down the numbers behind that as well, during the World Championship last year when the US won gold, he did actually put up a goal and 3 assists in 8 games, which for a 20-year-old offensive defenseman playing against men, that's pretty good. I say men because, like, you know, you've got World Juniors and most of them are under 20, but here you're playing like players, like established NHL players, right? Like, so looking just based on the numbers and the qualifications and all the, like, his pretty much his trophy case, he's a winner. And hopefully he brings that winning mindset to the Canucks. But again, I guess we'll see. But he's probably going to be expected to fill the Hughes minutes right away. I don't think he's going to be playing 30 minutes a game. He probably shouldn't be playing 30 minutes a game.
I hope they don't do that to him.
Right? Don't give him the Hughes treatment.
Yeah.
But he can quarterback a power play. He can, you know, he's got a good transition game. He's very mobile. He's very smart as a player. So
it's promising.
Yeah, promising for the future. It's not Hughes, but you're like, the odds are you're not going to get a Hughes back, right? So
you can't replace somebody like Hughes. Like I think that is something that people are really like gunning on, and probably I want to say like overreacting. Like, yes, okay, you're never going to get another Hughes, but Hughes is one guy.
mm-hmm.
There are other people who have almost just as much ability. Like, Hughes is not the best defenseman in the NHL. Cale Makar is. And that, like, I hate to say that, but it's true. Like, people will come and go, and there are going to be people that are better than others. That's just the way the world works. So so yes, you lost the second best NHL defenseman, and the odds of you getting like a top 5 is challenging, but it's not impossible.
Mm-hmm. When you have what you have, as like, and especially with Buium being so young, so early, when you have that already, that's a very promising sign, and the potential is there. Of course, you have to see whether it plays out or not, but
You got to develop them properly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that is the big thing that I am fearful of, is that they're not going to develop these kids properly because they don't know how to commit to a rebuild.
Yep.
Because, like, you see a team like Montreal, where they spent the last, what, like 2, 3 years?
We spent some
Trying to-
time on their young guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but look at them now. Like, they're doing pretty well. So, I don't know. That we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, but yeah, so that's Buium is the main piece in the trade that's coming back to the Canucks. One other thing I do think we should probably say is just because he is looking like he will be a replacement, quote unquote, for Hughes, does not mean that he will be. So don't get your expectations too high and don't place too high of expectations on him.
Yeah, Canucks fans tend to do that.
I was gonna say, because I could see people overreacting a little bit and being like, this is the next Quinn Hughes, which who knows, maybe he could be, but
It's like, no, this is the next Buium. Like,
yeah, this is Buium, right? Yeah,
yeah.
like he is his own individual player. Although apparently he did say he models his game after Quinn Hughes. So that's a
Well, that's more to him, you know? If he can take aspects of Quinn Hughes's play and add it to his own, then he'll be better.
yep, there we go, right? Yeah, so that's the main piece. The last piece in this is Liam Öhgren, who people may assume is a throwaway, but who knows? Like he's still also like the others, still very young, so he could,
How
blossom
old is
into
he? Is he 20?
20. He was the 19th overall pick in 2022, so he's 21, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so he still very young, right?
Yeah.
And he's played in less than 50 games at the NHL level, so he's very young, still trying to find his footing. He doesn't have any points yet this season, and unfortunately he's hasn't really like been able to produce consistently at the NHL level. But I think with him you're getting more so of less of like a game breaker kind of player and more of say like a Kiefer Sherwood, where he
Add stability.
he's a strong power forward. Exactly, he adds stability, he's a strong power forward, and his impact on the ice will come more so from being the first player in on the forecheck, or throwing hits using his body to get the puck, right? And that might, like, the offense part of that might not come right off the bat, but like you see with a player like Sherwood, eventually maybe it does, right? And maybe it pays off in dividends, right? So like he is still only 21, so there is room for him to grow into this player, but with the projection of that, it's a positive, right? Those are the kind of players you want, especially when they're younger, so you can kind of try and retain them later on in the future. But yeah, so Öhgren, not just a throwaway, someone to keep an eye on. Another thing I do want to note about Öhgren is that he has played with Sweden in the past two, not the past two, the 2022 and 23, and then 2023-24 World Junior Championships. In the first one, he wore an A, and the second one, he was named captain. So I view that as pretty, like, it's an indicator of leadership really early on, right? Especially when you're under 20. So something else to keep an eye on when it comes to him.
Well, you know what? I think people really underestimate, like, okay, you may not have the best player on the ice, but if he can bring energy to the locker room, I'd arguably say that's more important.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
it,
if you, yeah,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, if you don't have that kind of positive energy and motivation
Mm-hmm.
in the locker room, that is going to translate onto the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, I think, don't really understand how important it is for a team to be united and
Mm-hmm.
to work well just on like not on the ice
Yeah,
in
right?
order
Like,
for them to perform well on the ice.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, like, especially you look at some I'm not calling the Canucks a contender by any means, but if you look at contending teams and what like the players that have performed most in playoffs or even like teams that just make the playoffs, it's usually those kinds of players who stand out because of course things are a lot heavier in the playoffs. You need that kind of physical energy and being able to bring that, like for example Sherwood. I know we keep using Sherwood as an example, but who knows if he's going to be with the team in like a couple months. So like players like that who are able to contribute on different sides of the ice as well as be that kind of positive locker room presence, right? So
You gotta take the wins where you can.
exactly. um on staying on the Hughes thing, one other thing I was kind of interested in knowing your opinion on is, do you think Hughes is going to stay in Minnesota long term, or do you think this is just a stop before he goes somewhere else?
No, this is just a stop. This is just a pit stop. He's reload. He's gassing up. Like,
He'll get his one playoff run in and then he'll
you know what I think is gonna happen? I think he's gonna be a Rantanen, Mikko
Oh,
Rantanen. He's gonna go to like four
interesting.
different teams before he finds the team that he actually wants to play for.
Interesting. Do
Yeah.
you have a pick on which team that's going to be?
I can't say that I do. I honestly, I don't know why I get the inclination that he's not gonna end up in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Oh, I don't want to say Florida because I don't want him to go there. I don't want him to go there.
Why would you pick Florida? Oh.
But
Maybe.
I think he wants to win. So he's gonna go for a cup contending team or a team that he thinks is capable of making the playoffs at the very least.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe Tampa Bay.
I was
Tampa
going
Bay.
to say, if you don't want to go with Florida, there is another team in the state of Florida, Tampa Bay. Hmm.
Maybe that.
He is technically from Florida. So,
Yeah.
technically.
Maybe
Interesting.
going back to his roots.
Interesting. Bring his brothers with him.
Yeah. But yeah, do you have like a team that you think, or what do you think? This is his last pit stop?
Yeah, I don't see Minnesota being long term. Like, I feel like if anything, I could see it like, and maybe it's because everyone's been talking about the East, but I feel like it is going to be on the East. I mean, his family, like his whole family is there. His brothers are there. Whether he plays with them or not, maybe he will, maybe he won't. But I think it's the East. I don't know about what team.
That's what like
Like,
it's
it's,
hard to pinpoint.
yeah, because it's like, if it's not New Jersey, of course, like Detroit could be in there. I mean, he literally lives in Michigan. So that
I
would,
doubt he
but
would want to go to the like no offense to the no offense to Detroit, but like it's like not nearly as bad as Vancouver Canucks status, but it's not great.
yes. And I think if anything, like I think he's done with Canada. Not saying that there's anything negative, but like he's
He's
from the
done with the
States.
Canadian market.
Yeah, right. Another thing that kind of, now that Hughes is no longer a Canuck, another thing that kind of is intriguing is whether or not he will end up having his jersey retired, or if he's in the Ring of Honor or nothing happens at all. Just because, I mean, he is the franchise's best defenseman, the best defenseman that the Canucks have ever had, pretty much holds the majority of the records. And because of that, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, like, you know, he should at least be in the Ring of Honor or something. But I don't know. It's an interesting topic. I have my opinions on it. What are yours?
Um, well, first of all, I don't think he's gonna retire the number.
No, no,
Yeah. Like
no.
I like not a chance. Not a chance. Um,
I feel like to have your number retired, you have to be a career, like not career, but 10 to 15 plus seasons with the team.
yeah.
And in like in some sort of leadership role, which he was, but he was only in the leadership role for like 2 years. So
Yeah. So And okay, yes, he's got all these records. He's done a phenomenal job while he's here, but to me, that only means so much. Like having your name in the like ring of, I don't know. I think there's more to it than just being able to produce on the ice.
Mhm.
And the other factors that contribute to what I believe should be like a Ring of Honor type thing is not there. So evidently my choice would be
Mhm.
not to have him there. But
I,
what about you?
I completely agree. But I'm basing mine off a little something different as well. I agree in the sense that yes, he has the numbers, he has the stats, the accolades to back him up, but there is another element to it that you see in more players. Like for example, you look at the Ring of Honor, you've got guys like Alex Burrows, got
The
Matthias Bolland,
Sedins.
the Sedins have their jerseys retired, all these players. And I think when you look at that, there is a certain kind of aspect to the off ice part of the game that they kind of, you look at them and you think, yeah, they were a Canuck, right? Like when you look at Alex Burrows, you're not going to think, oh, yeah, Ottawa Senators legend, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't like you don't look at the Sedins and go like yeah, like there's an aspect of it where you think they were meant to be a Canuck. Maybe a hot take. I could see that with Bo Horvat, but that could be a different topic. Um,
Topic for another day.
another day, right? Another thing I was kind of basing it off of is the fact that previously Alex Edler, who held all these records, did not end up in the Ring of Honor, and he ended up doing the whole, sign a 1 day contract to retire as a Canuck, but nothing else other than that. Because of that, and of course, you also consider Edler's off ice contributions to the Canucks. He was drafted by the team, played with the team for like his almost his entire career. And the fact that he still did not make that, because of that, to me, I think management wouldn't do that for, or management organization wouldn't do that for Hughes.
Shouldn't do that for Hughes.
Yeah. So
And like he's gone now. You have nothing to like suck up to. Don't don't ruin the honor of being in the ring. Like literally.
the honor of being in the ring.
Yeah.
But back onto the topic, we had brought it up earlier on who we think the captain could be now that Hughes is gone. You had picked Besser. Um, for a while, I had actually thought that as well, but I'm kind of leaning towards there being no captain and just running with multiple assistant captains. I think Besser will get an A, Myers will get an A, Garland might get an A, but I could see them just not like going no captain for a little bit, maybe naming one at some point, like a kind of like a placeholder captain, if that makes sense, like interim or whatever. And if anything, I could see that being Tyler Myers. Just because you've
No.
you've seen how it goes, like when you name someone who's young, and as much as I want to commit to like I want to say Besser has committed to be here, he is a Canuck. He's probably one of the last players who is carrying on that legacy from like the Sedins and like the 2011 team. And as much as I do stand with that, at the end of the day, if he stays long term, I don't think he's going to be captain. I see it in a situation where in a few years' time, Braden Coots comes up and ends up being the captain, the next big captain of the Canucks, in a similar way that a lot of people were seeing Bo Horvat ultimately get papered down into being the captain. Of course, he was traded a little while after, but whatever. So yeah, I don't know. That's my thought. I don't think they're gonna look for it actually, let me rephrase that. I don't think they should look for a solution to that problem right off the bat.
No, I think I agree with you there. I don't think it should be a decision that needs to be made like tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
Like I think for the rest of the season they'll probably just ride it out, no captain, right? Next year, who knows if anything, maybe someone's named, I don't know. But it's not an immediate decision and it shouldn't be an immediate decision.
No, it needs to be thought out, well put. I just think like of the current options that you have, Besser to me it just makes the most sense.
Mhm.
Like he is a Canuck through and through.
Mhm.
Like that guy is dedicated to the
Yeah.
team. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's hard for me to not want him to be the captain of the team.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because even though he may not be producing like number one points and goals and stuff like that, like he's shown that he's dedicated to the team. And to me, at this point in time, that's more important than anything else out there. Like just being dedicated to the team and showing every day that you want to be here,
Mhm.
I think that goes a long way.
Yeah. Loyalty, right?
Yeah, loyalty is a big thing for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I appreciate his loyalty to the team
Yeah.
for sure. And I hope he knows that.
Yes. We appreciate your loyalty, Brooke.
Yes.
Back away from the Hughes and towards the actual teams themselves this week for our weekly recap of the Canucks and the Goldeneyes. We had one team have a bit of a bounce back, and we had one team not really have a bounce back at all and end up having to trade their star player. But I wonder who that could be. We'll start with the negative as we always do so we can end on a positive note. The Canucks, they had a 4-game homestand and dropped 3 of the 4 games, which I don't know, I feel like at this point is almost expected. But they did win one. And surprisingly enough, it was a game in which they played with Drew O'Connor as their fourth line center because Elias Pettersson left during warmups and ended up not playing. Yeah. But the thing that I find the most interesting, I guess, is that since then they have players in the organization that can play center, like Lucas Reichel, for example, who was literally just put on waivers about a couple minutes ago.
Stop! Stop! No! It continues, sorry.
You're good. You're good. Valid crash out. Valid. They have players like Lucas Reichel who can play center, who have history of playing center, and they have still chosen to go with Drew O'Connor down the middle. I know why that is, but it's an interesting situation.
I don't know why that is. Why is that? Why would you do that? Why?
Okay, most of the reasons why that they are saying to the public that Reichel has not been in the lineup is because of the defensive side of the game of being a center, which they don't entirely trust quite yet. And O'Connor being one of the more defensively inclined centers who actually had a decent performance in faceoffs prior to suddenly becoming a center now. To them, that seemed like the more attractive option, I guess. Mind you, O'Connor has no experience playing center. So you put someone who does not exactly know the facets of that side of the game in that position. It's an interesting choice to me. Of course, that hopefully won't be the case anymore with Marco Rossi coming in, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if anything, that move epitomizes the Canucks season. O'Connor at center. It's just
It's
it's
it's like when you're baking and you're whipping it up and it's not working together and then you're just like, okay, let me just throw in whatever I can to try and fix this.
oh
Like
gosh.
that is
It's
what that is.
like it's not sweet enough. Here's some salt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened this week for the Canucks. And of course, we saw our first jersey thrown on the ice against the Buffalo Sabres on Thursday. And now your captain's gone. But that was the Canucks this week. Pretty much
Fun
all you can
times.
say. But to take things on a positive route, we're going to talk about the Goldeneyes for the rest of the episode, I think, hopefully. And things will be a little more positive there. Mind you, part of it will not be positive because the
We may
women's
as well just start
Canada
with that
I
then.
was I was gonna say the Canada women's team did lose 10-4 on Wednesday to the States, but
Who was in net?
both Mashmeyer and Renee Debian. Debian came in, I think, like she started, and then Mash came in relief. Yeah. Yeah.
I give up. I give up. Okay.
Vancouver
Well, that
hockey
happened. Well,
but
that happened. Okay.
yep, but
Next.
yeah, the rivalry series does continue tonight. Hopefully Canada bounces back, but I guess we will see.
To be determined.
But back to the Goldeneyes. Of course, they are currently on break for the rivalry series. Four of their players are with Team Canada: Emrys Mashmeyer, Jen Gardner, Sophie Jakes, Claire Thompson. Their last game, on the other hand, was played on December 6th against the New York Sirens, their first home game since the home opener and their first regulation win, which, in my opinion, was a pretty sound win, a pretty good, their most complete win of the season. Of course, it was their first, like their second win of the season, so
Yeah.
not much sample size, but I think they played really well. They have a break right now, which, in my opinion, is a good thing, just because you have all this time to practice now, get to know your teammates a little more. Of course, like when the season first started, realistically, they'd only had a week or two to kind of like gel on the ice. So it was understandable that things weren't quite clicking the same way, but we saw a lot more of those clicks and a lot more of that connection against the Sirens in the Goldeneyes' last game. So I'm optimistic that this break did some good for them, and hopefully now that they've got a short homestand coming up before the like holiday break, hopefully they can string together a couple wins and get back up in the standings.
Yeah, I would agree that December 6th game against the Sirens, I was like, okay, this is the team that everyone is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like what we had seen on the road, I don't know what that was. Like, no offense to the Goldeneyes, but that was not sound execution. That was frantic. I don't know what I'm doing. Just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that they actually looked when passing, they made plays, they brought it to the front of the net. Like, I really like that either the coach knows his team and knows how the game is played, or he's listening to what people have to say. Because all the things that I at least saw that was really lacking in those road games were addressed and fixed at the home game. I mean, it could just be like home um ice advantage,
Yeah.
used to say, but it was a sound game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not to take away from the home opener because they did win that game, and the third period and the fourth period were phenomenal. But overall, I think that Seattle kind of outplayed Vancouver,
Yeah.
and it was just purely like Mashmeyer being a brick wall. So it was nice to see that, like, yes, she was making incredible saves on December 6th against the Sirens, but we also saw defensive plays. We saw offensive plays. We saw people connecting as a team. Like, there was more cohesion and
Mm-hmm.
it looked promising.
Yeah.
So, That's why I was kind of upset that the break landed right as they kind of found their footing,
Mm,
or at least I would like to think that they found their footing. But we'll never know.
I
So
guess we will see. Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to wait.
We will see. Yeah. The break could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Who knows?
I mean, hopefully they take the time to really bond off the ice
Hmm.
and kind of figure out like, hey, like this is our connection, especially line mates. I didn't realize how important it is for you to like be in good cohesion with your line mate.
Yep. Hmm.
And not just your line mate, like forwards and like both the forwards and the defense who are like paired together, they need to have good communication.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
So I'm learning to appreciate the game a little bit more. As a swimmer, there like you have relays, but it's not the same as being
Like
on a team. Yeah,
like a whole unit almost, right? Yeah.
exactly. Like working together as a unit versus individual performance. Like,
Hmm.
yes, of course, your individual performance is important. Like we saw with the Canucks and Quinn Hughes, like individual performance like saved.
Saved.
Saved. But it's good to see that they're taking their individual strengths and translating it into team cohesion. So
Yeah. And I think another big positive that will come with this break is the fact that Sarah Nurse and Nina Job Smith, who are both out due to injury, uh, we were at practice on Wednesday and both were skating after the main Goldeneyes practice. So the fact that they're both out on the ice right now, kind of getting the reps in, getting a feel for the ice skating again, it's a good sign. No timeline on that, but that is another thing to be aware of. But
it's a step in the right
a
direction.
step in the right direction, exactly. But on the topic of the Golden Eyes, we've talked mostly Canucks this episode, but why not we end it off with a positive and talk about some of our standouts from the first 5 games of Golden Eyes play. The road games, of course,
Yeah.
standouts, but from
How about we just acknowledge from the get-go that Emran Smashmeyer is up top.
I was gonna say, let's not pick Emirates Smashmeyer
Yeah.
because she's obviously the
She's
main
golden
standout.
tier. Like she's
She's
golden.
at
She's
the
on her
top.
own tier
Yeah.
level, you know? Like
Standouts after Mashmeyer.
yeah, standouts after
Okay.
Mashmeyer.
Hmm.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
I have a couple picks. If you want, you can go ahead and then I'll follow up depending on whether my picks were picked or not.
Well, I mean, I hate to be the like the bland, but obviously Abby Boreen,
Hmm.
she has been phenomenal. I think even when the road games were happening, like you could see that she was putting in the effort and like trying to make plays happen. So it's always been a positive to see her on the ice, and I just really like watching her play. Like
Hmm.
she's fun to watch.
Yeah.
She's like a breath of fresh air. After watching a Canucks game, I watch her play and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes. Okay. We see the drive, we see the power, we see like the passion is there."
Hmm.
So I really like watching her and she's definitely been a standout for me. Another one is surprisingly Vashinova.
Hmm.
I've really liked her.
Hmm.
She like kind of took me by surprise because sometimes I was like, "Ooh, girl, like you're skating a little bit too fast for your puck control," and then she like loses control of the yeah. But she's a good skater.
Hmm.
She knows how to play the game, and I have like nothing really bad to say about her. She's just yeah. Those
Yeah.
are my top two, and Gardner as well. But I'm just gonna let you. I'm assuming.
I had two as well. Actually just wrote an article about this particular one, and I would have to go Michelle Carvinen as my first.
Yeah.
Um, with most of the players on the team, they've already played in the PWHL, right? But for Carvinen, this is her first season. Uh,
The oldest
she's
rookie out there.
yeah, she's a rookie, but she plays like a vet. To like is the way I've been kind of like phrasing it in my head. Like you just like you look at her on the ice. Of course, she's such a decorated like professional player, PWHL aside, like international Swedish leagues, the like. But you also see her kind of stepping up in that way where, like, a lot of times she'll be one of the first players onto the ice to start a shift, and then she'll be the last player off. She's finishing her checks. She's making those responsible defensive plays while also being a contributor on offense. Maybe not as much as some people may have liked. I know she has 2 assists so far this season, but like the level of play she can bring to both sides of the ice is something that has really stuck out for me. And on top of that, the fact that with Nurse out on what day was it? On the 6th against the Sirens, we saw her wearing the A, right? And that's like for a player who is 5 games into a PWHL season, like that's rare, but I'm not surprised given her accolades and what she has brought on an international level, right? Like I could see her being a PWHL captain one day, if not like very soon, but well, it wouldn't be very soon because Ashton Bell is currently the captain of the Vancouver Goldeneyes. And you would hope that Karvinen stays with the Goldeneyes.
I don't want her gone.
Right.
Don't do that to me.
I know. Not another captain. Yeah.
Let's not do that. No.
But like just the leadership and like the game, like the style of play that she brings to all different sides is something that I've really liked about her game so far. Another one I would have to say is Sophie Jakes, who there have been times where, you know, occasional gaffe and you're like, uh-oh, like, but as a whole, I've really appreciated like how solid she's been while contributing on offense. I know there was a lot of hype surrounding her and Claire Thompson when they both came in from the Frost. But I've really noticed Jake's ability to kind of like step up and join play when she thinks she needs to, right? Like, and of course she's got that ability to shoot. Like, I mean, how many shots does she have this season, right? As a blue liner, right? Like on defense. And even if those shots aren't getting in per se, like if she's not scoring, she's still getting those, putting it to the net. And when you have players like the Goldeneyes who can get to the net, who can crash the net, like players like Abby Barine, for example, who can really make a hard effort to get to the net, shooting from the blue line is not a bad thing. Because then you've got players who can swarm and who can get in there, tip it in. Exactly, right? Yeah. And of course, she did actually have 2 goals in the game, the 10-4 loss for Canada.
She had half of the goals.
Yeah, she was, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so those are 2 that I've appreciated so far, 5 games in. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, the road games were not the greatest, and everyone knows that. There's no hiding it. But there was some good performance overall, and I'm excited to see what's to come.
Yes. Especially now that they've kind of started to get their footing, starting to connect a little more on an on and off ice level, and they've got a little bit of a homestand coming up here, so we'll see how that goes. Yep. I think that is everything from us today, though, since we spent like probably, I haven't counted, but it's probably like half an hour talking about Quinn Hughes. So thank you for listening, everyone. We're so sorry that Friday probably ended terribly for you. But as always, weekend. Yes, get some sleep, please. Take care of yourselves.
Get some sleep. Take the day to ease yourself into it.
Take care of yourselves. It's hard. It's been a hard couple of days. So
it's been a hard couple of months.
Yeah. It's been a hard long
been a hard season.
Yeah. But thank you for listening, everyone. Be sure to, leave comments for topic suggestions, reach out to us on socials, whatever else I end up saying at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
But have a great weekend, as best of a weekend as you can. And we will chat next week.